Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming to you from SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 262. Hello out there, I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill, joined here as always, except when he's not, by BT Calloway.
What is up, hot shots and tater tots?
And joined all the way from the far-off land of the Blue Mountains is Danny Rosewell.
I'm Danny Rosewell. Man, I really liked Beach's intro, though. That was great.
Yeah, I'm trying something new. I got a bunch of stupid rhymes.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah, I hear it pays well with the audience.
Yeah, look forward to me forgetting about those.
And I assume you've got more Alanis Morissette covers for the final note song?
Yeah, I forgot about that. See? Yeah, I'm very consistent in my branding that I always forget the thing that I'm doing.
Oh, man.
Well, the thing that we can't forget that we're doing is reviewing Simpsons. Like this episode today, which was from season 32, episode 21. And this episode's called The Man from G.R.A.M.P.A.
I believe Disney Plus has it as The Man From.
Really?
Yeah, there's no follow-up.
Might be like one of those things where, like, when I get tickets for flights, I've just long given up on having the apostrophe in my last name O'Neill because it just turns into a bunch of code, and it's just something that computer, especially ticketing systems, hasn't gotten around yet. The idea that a name can have a fucking apostrophe in it.
Yeah, they do not like that. You'd think you were the only guy on the freaking planet with an apostrophe in their name.
No, I can think of a whole lot of people that would.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to make a riff about like elvish people when they fly, but
no,
that's way better.
Oh, man, the Klingons. Don't you get me started.
Carterbuck.
So yeah, this was first released in May of 2021. It was directed by Mike Frank Polcino and written by Carolyn Omine.
No, Carolyn, stop it.
Was that O with an apostrophe?
No, it's a Hawaiian name, so yeah. They sometimes do have apostrophes, actually. Those Hawaiian
they can
names.
if they want. It's
true.
It's the swinging 90s, man. Anything goes.
Yeah. No, this is upsetting. Because, again,
she was your hope. She was supposed to save us. She wasn't supposed
I know.
Someone who has, like, for a later era, mostly HD and Disney era writer, who has an impressive strike rate.
More like strikeout rate.
She has our highest rated latter day episode.
Did she do Highway to Well?
Yeah.
Ah.
I was under the impression, yeah. Otherwise, I'm praising her far too much, but I'm pretty sure she did.
She was the chosen one.
I know.
She was, and she's absolutely... Oh, you're right. She did too.
Yeah. Cubic and 2 golds. It's... damn, come on.
Well, look, man, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few legs. Maybe this is that leg.
You can't make an omelette without breaking a few hearts.
An omelet sounds great. But yeah, so in this episode, there's this spy that suspects that Grandpa was a traitor spy selling secrets to the Russians. And so we set about on our journey following Terrence, played by guest star Stephen Fry.
Oh, man.
Who gets a pretty sizable part in this episode.
He's everywhere in it.
Yeah, that does explain some things.
They really spend a lot of time talking about how good he is at accents. Wow, Mr. Fry, you're just the best at accents. Do 5 more British accents for me. Go, go, go.
Now say Harry Potter pocketed it.
Churchill, do your Churchill.
That's right. Yeah, and he also plays another 2 characters in this as well. So, like, they even said that Al Jean said this is like one of the largest roles a guest star's ever gotten.
Because even without knowing who it was, I wrote down at a certain point, they're really banking on me liking this character a lot more than I do.
Sure.
Did he do Orson Welles as well? I bet he did.
No, that was Maurice LaMarche.
Really?
That was a big fucking
Maurice
question
LaMarche. Why was Orson Welles sidebar? Why? Pourquoi?
I don't know. Random fucking cutaway gag of Orson Welles
for, like,
trying to get on a
joke?
Ferris wheel. Yeah, pretty much.
Why was it Orson Welles? Why was he in like 1800s with the little cravat and everything?
To line up our notes, my note literally just says Orson Welles ? Why ?
Yes! Thanks. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system.
No, that's okay. It's such a small, like, detached part of the episode that we can just rip that Band-Aid right off. Yeah. Orson Welles was in this. Like, again, it's not set up with any context. I'm pretty sure Orson Welles, as of the year 2021, was dead, right?
Yeah. Oh, well dead.
Yeah.
Decades.
Super hardcore
Welles
dead.
Yeah.
Hey.
So,
back on Stephen Fry. Wait, hang on. Sorry, because I know I'm going to forget if I give it more than a minute.
Fair enough.
There was a moment when they were literally saying, "Wow, you've got an amazing voice. You have such a beautiful voice. Do some more talking for me. I just love your voice."
Oh, that's right. When Homer was like saying that, "Oh, you're like the kind of voice that I could watch a movie that I'd fall asleep to," or something like that. Yeah.
How much more can we stroke Mr. Fry, right?
Stroking Mr. Fry. Yeah, well, it's curious, like, if they did that sort of bit, like, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, that might have worked for me, but Stephen Fry, bless his heart, he's just gotten a bit older, and it's like, that wasn't that silky smooth and, like, wonderful, like, enchanting vocal delivery, honestly.
It was fine. I think now that I'm talking to you guys, I feel like his vocal pacing is just slightly too slow for The Simpsons, and it kind of slowed down the whole pacing of the show.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
a good
fair to
shout.
say Stephen Fry's strengths do not align with The Simpsons' strengths.
Yeah, I think they need a faster pace than this just to feel lively. It dragged a bit. And I don't think that was necessarily the writing. I think it was interesting enough for what it was.
Premise, fine. Execution, pfft.
Yeah, dragged.
Yeah, like, I was kind of excited when I saw the synopsis on this. I was like, oh, this is like going to be like a spy sort of espionage-y episode. That sounds interesting.
You were wrong. Dead
I was
wrong.
really looking forward to a Hellfish sequel. And then they dropped the Hellfish in the start of it. They got me so friggin' jonesing for that.
All right, so to illustrate what stuck out to me, for better or for worse.
Thank you.
There was a bit... There's a bit I got about 10 seconds in where I had to stop and sneeze for unrelated reasons. But I had to pause the record, and it was just after they went, this man was part of the Flying Hellfish, and then he went to America where he worked at a nuclear plant, and I had to pause at that point, and I'm like, oh, cool, we're getting a Flying Hellfish sequel?
Right?
And okay. Oh, wait, it's Mr. Burns, isn't it? We're going to do this whole thing where we think it's Grandpa, and it's going to end up being Mr. Burns. And then they didn't. They did less than the obvious answer.
Oh, man, I know. I'd rewritten this episode in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, but even then I was like, okay, but you know what? I'm a huge fan of the Flying Hellfish episode. I remember realizing how tight and fun that episode was when we did it for the podcast.
It was stunning. I was so impressed.
And so I'm like, you know what? Fertile ground. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? I could do with another Grandpa Burns showdown. For real. Let's go.
And get Bart involved.
We got
and
nothing.
Yeah.
Grandpa is just so much more fascinating as a competent person, masquerading as an incompetent person.
Or even just an interesting person who is now so old they can't be as competent. Because I thought at some point that, because this whole thing is about they're tracking down the Grey Wolf who's selling nuclear secrets from the plant they work in, and so you're like, okay, maybe there's going to be an angle of Grandpa literally can't remember if it's him or not, or maybe Mr. Burns is messing with him to throw him out, throw the agency off the scent, or
yeah. There's
anything
so many
else.
ways it could have. Also, while we're here, you just said he's British spy. Why is a British spy trying to catch someone selling American secrets?
Yeah.
Isn't that America's problem?
Yeah.
Isn't British spies worried about British secrets?
Well, you see, Britain has spies and America has Marines, and one of these is subtle.
Yeah.
I guess. That's the best I got. No, it doesn't make any
But
sense.
before they become full Marines, they're only submarines. And they can go underwater.
Use that one at home, kids.
But yeah, the episode is set up at the start with this, Guy Terrence saying, I'm going to find the mysterious grey fox, selling secrets, and it's going to take me only a fortnight.
And then this French voice goes, 100 million years later.
Yeah. And so, then we're seeing this Terrence, who's obviously the last straw, finds him in Springfield State Mystery. You know.
That starts off well enough because he's like, well, here are all the states that have nuclear reactors. I'm going to visit all of them one after the other. And then it just happens to take 50 years, sure.
Yeah.
Such a dumb plan as well. I'm going to go into every town. I'm going to go walk into a town and try to prove a spy is not hiding here. You can only prove you haven't found him yet. How are you going to rule out the first town?
That's exactly right. And like throughout this whole episode, I just keep thinking, fuck, Terrence's plan is really bad.
It's
like
terrible. It's impossible. It's no wonder he's been 50 years doing absolutely nothing. I'm starting to think this whole like aging into not delirium. What's that word? It's not
Personality.
Yeah. Like he was that bad at the start, man. He just had a better accent, a younger voice.
Yeah, and at no point does his plan make sense, which would then at the later part of the episode get explained by, oh yeah, he was after the wrong guy and this might be all made up and he's just an old kook or whatever.
Having said that, I did feel like that was a very sudden, sharp turn as well. Like they really played him as competent until suddenly they're like, what the heck am I going to do now?
And then his pants are falling down.
And then his pants are falling down. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was all set to participate in this, and then the ending happened, and I got angry.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, we're jumping ahead, Beach. First of all, we need to find out what stood out to Danny Rosewell for better or worse.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I actually, he looks at me in the trunk and drives away, and they have this really tender moment when they're like, "Mwah, mwah, mwah, I love you, kiss, kiss, kiss." Lots of kisses. Lots of I love you. Loud and loud and going on and going on. And he keeps turning the volume up. And that felt weird and unplayable. That doesn't play right to me. But what did stand out was the next scene where the car pulls up and they're waiting in the dark in the trunk as you hear the footsteps approaching. They're waiting to die. That was like a real moment. And they let it breathe, you know?
Yeah.
I was in that trunk they didn't cut away. They just sat in the trunk and the footsteps came closer. I'm like, holy shit, this is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting like another, even a throwback to Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy, where it's like a Homer and Grandpa, you know, and their uneasy relationship and realizing that they love each other, sort of. Bit of that in this story as well.
Sure.
Where is the heart?
Yes, I mean, that's technically where I did find that moment got a little undermined because then they open the trunk and it's Chief Wiggum and Terrence is already in a police uniform for some reason. You're like,
yeah, I felt scene missing happened there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And at that point, he was so deep in the sauce for being an Alzheimer's patient or something. They were trying to do a quick wrap up. They looked at the time. Oh, Jesus, would you look at the time? We better wrap this up.
You're a swell girl, though. I'll call you.
Yeah.
But you're saying, though, Shag, that moment with Grandpa and Homer, you know, locked in the trunk, because, it's this whole thing that Terrence is trying to work over Homer to sell out Grandpa and lead Grandpa to him.
Yeah.
But then Homer, when he's been compelled with the evidence and starts doing the plan and, gets Grandpa to deliver him to Terrence to sell him out, he goes, "No, I won't do it. I won't give you over to the M15 or whoever.
Can't go through with it. I can't sell you out to the Biden administration."
I suppose.
So that moment worked for you anyway with Homer and Grandpa.
I mean, I wasn't particularly sold on their big makeup speech, the kisses, the ongoing I love yous, very sweet. But when it just paused and sat there for a minute and he was coming with the gun and you heard his footsteps and there was nothing but just like waiting for... And there was nothing they could do. They were both tied up in the... Man, wow. That had a moment of reality for me. It was a reality check there.
No, and it's a fair point. You know, we often criticize New Simpsons for just, blasting through their stories and not letting any moment breathe. And if they do let a moment breathe, it's for, an extended, pointless joke, which this episode also had.
Oh,
but,
of course.
Yeah, so no, that's a good shout, man.
We got to try to look at the half-full parts of the glass as well, right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's why I asked for better or worse. You know, I give an opportunity for... And so this will be a mixed bag, sort of my answer to this, because... It's for better, but then it ended up being for worse because, like a lot of this plot, it feels like it sets up something interesting and then it just plays out and then it's like, well, my time was wasted. So they do set up an interesting thing where it's Terrence is, compelling Homer with the evidence and he asks him, how do you think you got that job at the nuclear plant and how do you think you've kept it? I'm like, that is genuinely an interesting thing. And again, like you guys, I'm like, when's Mr. Burns getting involved and tied up within this story?
Yes, and then Mr. Burns would have all this great reasons to have fall guys and bumbling lackeys around the place to manipulate.
Absolutely. and pulling the strings and everything, and like, yeah, putting like most of the compelling evidence on Grandpa and Homer, while keeping his hands clean of it. I'm like, yeah, let's go let's go high intrigue, and then not.
Yeah, because like Burns could be, stashing a bunch of evidence in Homer's work locker that he never uses.
Man, even if Burns wasn't in the whole episode, even if they just pulled back to the dog doing the shifty eyes at the end, setting us up for war on Grandpa too.
Yeah, just the shadows of Burns even, be like, I don't know. Again, planting evidence, something just... Like even when Terrence's daughter showed up, I was like, okay, is this going to be like Smithers in a costume? And that's how this is going to get in here?
Well, that it was at least referring back to the start of the episode where it's like, oh, this person has decided, they're at the old folks' home and they're like, oh, what happened to Hazel or whatever? It's like, oh, that's right. She's decided to move back at home with her family. And then, like, all the old people are fawning over the new room that's become available, which Terrence ends up moving into. And I'm like, here's some intrigue that maybe he manipulated the situation to be so.
Even that was interesting. Oh, man, even when the receptionist was like, he was mouthing, help me, but I'm trained to ignore that. I was fascinated. Give me more, but no.
I did like the receptionist that knew everything that was going on, but just didn't do anything about it.
Again, if you've got a high intrigue story where, like, information is important, that is, like, a funny way to keep this a comedy show, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that was sort of the last beat they had before deciding to do the daughter wrap-up. Suddenly he's a dementia patient.
Yeah. Really fucking disappointing shit.
Yeah.
But was it a particularly wacky episode? We like to talk about some of the more cartoony moments. We're talking about a high spy drama sort of thing. How were the cartoony moments? Did they use the cartoony space well?
There's a bit where when Terrence first meets Grandpa, he kind of molds his face.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know why. Like, it's not like he knew what the Grey Fox looked like in the 70s and he's molding him into that shape. He's just doing it.
New Simpsons loves body horror.
Really does. But, like, at least there's usually something to that. This just happened. It was really weird.
Yes.
Kids, if someone comes up and manipulates their face, that's not okay. You tell them no. You kick them in the balls and find an adult.
At the end, when his pants fell down, it could have been such a good throwback to Hellfish if someone had said, like, can't you go 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, like, there's shades of Hellfish, and I don't think they did it intentionally
I
for this episode.
I know, the bastards.
Yeah. But
right.
I think the point I was making up with the leading up with this, like, for a cartoon show that was doing a spy episode, this episode was decidedly unexciting in that area and did not...
Very grounded.
Yeah, make any attempts at doing fun action scenes or anything like that, yeah.
Yeah, no spy chases or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the most tenuous Orson Welles link I could possibly find.
Hit me.
He's been working hard on this,
mad
ladies and gentlemen.
conspiracy shit, all up in this busy.
I've been working on it the last 30 seconds as I've been Googling. So, when they're at the pier, right after the Orson Welles, but God, this is such a stupid bit. There's a stand that's the Joseph Cotton candy, and it's got like a real photo of a dude in like next to the stand. So I Googled who Joseph Cotton was. He was a guy who was in a bunch of Orson Welles movies, including The Third Man, which is like a spy probing the case kind of thriller. It is tenuous at best.
Wow. Did one person clock that joke like live and go?
No, I got that it was supposed to be a reference.
That was for the writer's room to chuckle about.
Not even that. Like that's an old movie for us. Okay, like I feel like this is a remnant. You know when you watch any movie Sony makes and you're like, I can see this was made of about 8 different scripts smashed together. This feels like a bit from maybe when it was a bit more of a parody of an Orson Welles film and it just stayed in.
Yeah. There were a bunch of like references to spy movies and stuff.
Well, I was going to ask about the title. I haven't seen the movie The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Is it any way related or...
It used to be a TV show called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it stands for like...
Go on.
Understanding, not liking. There's no L there.
The C next.
It's one of those like work backwards from the acronym sort of.
Undoing naughty communism. Like
Elliot.
Like Elliot. Well, I'm pretty sure that the opening scene around the conference table, that's from some spy movie. I would have
That's
to look.
from all of them.
Yeah, well, yes, but it's probably from a specific one. More specifically, is when they're watching a mixed media. They're watching live action in the retirement home.
Yeah, so that's like 2 IRL photo moments in this episode.
Isn't that weird?
I continue to hate when they do that. I think it looks terrible and doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, and that it's not justified in any way. Like
it didn't add anything. It was jarring, I think.
Yeah, no, they've done that a few times in the modern era, where the only time they did it in the classic was, during Homer's chili freakout, and even then, it was IRL footage of clouds. It was fine, and
even then they were swelling and swirling and stuff.
Yeah, it was in the context of a hallucination.
Yeah, it's when you take drugs and things get too real.
So I know this is cheating, guys, but I opened up the wiki page for The Man from Grandpa.
Yeah,
because I was curious, and it does say live action footage from Third Man is shown. The conference room at the beginning references Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, blah blah blah. But back in the plot, because I wanted some crib notes on what we'd seen. Back in the plot, right? I'm cutting to halfway through the plot. The two then spy on Abe and see him take a package from 2 Russian-looking men. Terrence asks Homer to trick Abe into Terrence's company, blah, blah, blah. However, Homer can't bring himself to bring Abe in, so Terrence, bracket, having now gone insane, bracket, kidnaps both Homer and Abe at gunpoint. Having now gone insane.
Objection. He was not in.
This was not
the
spelled
plan.
out explicitly. But it adds a twist. It adds a layer.
That is a pretty damning thing if you're writing a plot synopsis of this. It's just like,
the only way for this to make
the character's
sense.
pivoted now, so...
This man was completely insane.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up that opening section anyway, we got additional voices by Robin Atkin Downes, who played the voice of Doomsday in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
Ooh.
Okay.
And also Brian George, who was Babu in Seinfeld.
Babu!
Oh,
Yeah.
Babu. He's the big bear that makes friends with Mowgli.
Yes. Also had a spin-off called Tailspin,
Yeah, really big in Seinfeld.
And also, during credits sketch at the end of the episode, we got Dima Malenitchev playing
As the Russian guy?
as the Russian See and Spray. What did I write there? See and Say.
Yeah, see and say.
So yeah, one of those big
It's pronounced seance.
It does also weirdly hold on because there's Elise is outside Maggie's door and she's like, "Dad, I think I hear people talking," and they listen and there's the sound of Russian and they go in and it's Maggie with one of the see and says, and when she pulls the cord it says it in Russian and Homer goes, "That's why it was $3 on Amazon," and then it just holds for 4 seconds.
Yes.
They were proud of that joke.
Oh,
I
man.
guess.
You know, when you buy $3 items on Amazon, it turns out to be Russian propaganda.
It's become such a show where the hand of the writers are obvious. It's so transparent. Old man shakes fist at cloud again and again.
We get a sequel to that in this.
Yeah,
we do too.
Yeah, which
that was
feels.
in his case file or some shit, right?
Yeah. Mixed feels on that because I like the idea that he's got paper. Obviously he's doing research on Grandpa, so naturally that old man yells at cloud appeared in a newspaper in Springfield. So sure,
I love a good red string room.
Yeah, it feels a little too, hey, we know this is a meme, guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and then I kind of like the follow-up of Cloud reigns only on old man.
Yes. and Simpsons is, especially in the later years, they're so guilty of just having background nods.
Yeah.
They don't know how to be subtle with Easter eggs, I think.
Yeah. But at least this was in universe.
Yeah.
This was diegetic or the opposite of that. I can't remember.
Yeah, but again, if you took if this was the moment of the episode to take all these quirky actions of Grandpa and build a bigger case for him being a spy,
there are so many more.
It's just so disappointing that it's all for naught like this.
His wife vanished for years and then died under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least it's better than, we've talked about how sometimes they have clips of The Simpsons on The Simpsons, but it implies that someone recorded those moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas at least this is in universe. We know this was in a newspaper, so it makes sense they have a clipping. Yeah.
But it's you know how every time you go down to The Simpsons basement, it's just like walking into a Simpsons paraphernalia room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, there's one thing like that, like having references in the background or in a room or whatever. But then, yeah, where moments, I don't know if you saw this episode with us, Shag, where Homer literally sends someone the gif of himself, like, backing into a bush.
Yeah.
And I wish I could say it's the only time they referenced that gif.
Yeah.
Bastards.
And they also have, like, Ralph rolling down a hill, and it's like, but
Oh,
no one
that's right.
filmed. Yeah, it's stupid.
But how was the heart in this episode? I think we kind of already went over it, that, yeah, it's a bit of a Grandpa-Homer uneasy relationship episode.
I mean, there's a bit of it for Terrence himself. He talks, about how his dad was an embarrassment to the agency. And
Yeah,
unfortunately,
shame that
then
they really, like,
we
goofed
went
up
to
his dad a bit.
we went to a cutaway clip explaining how terrible he was. Like that, none of that was funny, but sure. And then, the idea that he's been on this case for so long that even after he's retired, he's still pushing it because it will prove he's also not a fuck up. And there's a moment of disparity where Abe's like, you totally have the wrong dude. What are you talking about? And he's like, loses it a little bit. He's like, I've wasted my whole life. I am a fuck up just like my dad. And it was close. It just didn't work. And then, the final...
Fucking weird last idea of, you know what? I'm going to lie to the dementia patient, and tell him that, get happy ever after. He's going to feel happy for a second, and then so they clap Abe in handcuffs and send him off to prison for Russian spy, right? Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, he says it in, like, Wiggum doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So he just says, oh yeah, it was me. So Wiggum arrests him, and I can't imagine he then gets in the back of the car and goes, okay, you can take the cuffs off. I made that part up. And it's like...
Yeah, it's so
just,
weird. I don't know
work.
what this ending was, where, then Terrence gets to drive away with Homer, and also that they can do the callback to the fucking It's a Long Way to Tipperary
fuck,
joke.
that makes even... Sorry.
So forgot about Tipperary, but
It
Jesus.
It double bothers me now because there was a, Homer driving away with... Well, Terrence and Homer driving away undermines the idea that Grandpa and Homer had a moment.
Yes.
Because Terrence was his surrogate dad because he's like,
That's
Dad
it.
did...
It leans back to him calling him daddy, doesn't it?
Oh, I want the big one, Daddy.
Yeah, it didn't like that, man.
You've got a soundbite of Homer saying that, audience, you use it as you will.
Do what you will, Internet. And yes, let's talk about the song in the room, the repeated use of Long Way to Tipperary and...
Yeah,
Hi,
so
Phil.
I don't know what sets it up, but they start singing it in the bar, and then Terrence is like, no, the original was faster. And
Oh
then
my
they sing the
God,
whole thing
why?
again, just a couple of BPM faster.
Why are we... Again, clearly the chip on the shoulder of the scriptwriter. That's the hand of the scriptwriter's shaking fist at Cloud to me. That's what
Do
it
you know
feels
the
like.
original was actually much faster?
Yeah, that is some supreme hipsterism to be
Yes.
like, the original goes at 100
Who
BPM.
gives a shit? We're remixing it. Fucking slow that right down.
Exactly, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
bring
that's
it down to 40
500%
BPM.
slower.
Yes.
Do a fucking Doom Sludge cover of it.
Yeah.
It's a long way to Tipperary.
Oh, lads. It's not a bad song. Sure, whatever. But why are we... Was it just to sort of make it feel like how happy everyone is in the bar, or how we're all getting into this English biz?
Not even that, because barflies don't really care about Terrence all that much.
No. Why did we start singing?
I don't even know why we went to the bar with Terrence to begin with. That was pointless.
So this is the start of where I'm like, okay, Terrence's plan doesn't make sense at any point, because this is part of his plan, it seems like. This isn't him just accidentally blabbing, but he goes to the bar specifically to hold court and, like, shout everyone drinks, like Homer and Lenny and Carl.
Yes, he gets people drunk, feeds them conspiracy theories. No proof
and
or
tells
evidence.
Outlines everything that he's working on right now.
Yeah, some spy.
And then, when they question him about it, it's like, is it a good idea for you to be saying this? He's like, whatever.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, you'd think he'd want to... Because he starts off by being like, well, I know plenty about you, Homer. You enjoy beer. And Homer's like, I do. And pretzels. He's like, I will get you a pretzel. It's like, okay, so he's using it to butter Homer up. And then he just gets drunk and blabs.
Yeah.
To everybody. And then, later on, after Homer gets taken back home by Marge, he gets a call. Homer, come with me and I'll tell you everything about your father. It's just like, what is this twist? Like, I don't know.
Why is he trying to get Homer on his side? Surely you should be, like, investigating, gathering evidence. You're a spy. You have a government. Just arrest people.
And if your plan involves courting Homer to do something for you, you've got a very bad plan, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, you were in the retirement home. You had Abe. Like,
That's it. He was right there. You moved in next door to him and then did nothing with that.
Yeah, no, the more I think, the less sense it makes, because it's like, I have proof your father's the Grey Fox, and I'm not going to go to the authority with it or shoot him myself. I'm going to get you to get him to come with us, even though...
you to get him to come... He's already... I just moved in next door to him already.
Yeah. He's the guy who needs the proof, so why does he tell Homer? And even then, like, why move into the retirement castle? Like, surely having a cat and mouse in the retirement home is a better setting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've added this unnecessary extra step when it's just like, okay, well, if you did this, what material did it result in? Oh, the fucking 2-minute Tipperary riff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay.
Cut it. It sucked.
Oh, man. Cat and mouse bottle episode in a retirement home sounds great.
That sounds
fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets kind of like some Bubba Hotep spy shit.
That's a great movie. At least I thought so 20 years ago.
Ditto, but I'm going to back it. Bubba Hotep.
But ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Are the characters behaving like themselves?
Hard question to answer, because it wasn't trying to. It was doing
orbiting
a whole
the right ideas.
style cover, you know? A pastiche.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of these later Simpsons episodes that, again, for better or worse, they're trying something a bit different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
It
and
feels-
there was things I liked about it. But
Yeah, I would bet quite heavily that they were told to do massive rewrites once they got Stephen Fry on board.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give him more dialogue. And they were like, but he's got bits. I don't know. Maybe that's the only silver lining I can pull from this, because there are better ideas at play here, and now I'm getting angry about it.
yeah, it becomes like one of these weird sidestep Simpsons episodes, like the Banachek one, Beej, if you remember that, where
I do
it was
not.
just all about this Bill Hader character, and it's just like the Simpsons were the side characters in this dude's story.
Yeah. They were like, the scriptwriters just got impressed by him in the, oh my God, you know what happened? They got to rehearsals and then discovered Stephen Fry could do accents.
Like, rewrite it all so he does as many accents as possible.
Yes, and
Give him
everyone
3
keeps
more
crowing
characters.
about it. Oh, we love your accents. Wow, your voice is so sexy. Oh, do another one. Yeah, do another one.
Can you record my phone message, please, Mr. Fry?
Oh, yeah, now play the dude's sister. Now play the dude's bumbling father. Oh, man, yeah. But yes, no, would you watch this one again?
I don't see a reason.
No, I don't think I will, Ken.
BT, what would you like to change about this one?
And we've written better episodes a lot in this.
At least 3 of them.
It is so telling where it's an episode where we can't talk about it without going, well, here's a very easy improvement that makes this make sense.
Yes.
Because around about the, in the bar scene, I literally just wrote down, weren't we supposed to be doing like a spy thriller thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it lost focus before even the first ad break. I like the idea of having this, espionage cat and mouse in the retirement home that maybe climaxes at the nuclear plant. I like the idea of having a Flying Hellfish Part 2 where Grandpa maybe can't quite remember if he is guilty or not, and Mr. Burns is Mr. Burnsing about. There are so many different versions of this that I like more, that don't focus on a character I don't like.
Yeah. That's a solid point. It's just such an uncompelling character.
And there's something to be said about, because there's like you said, there's moments of it kind of making sense to Homer. What they're like, Terrence says to him, "Oh, now tell me, what did your father do for a living?" It's like, oh yeah, shit, and all that. He had a farm, but then I don't actually know what he did. It's like, yeah, fair. We as fans, we don't really know.
And he always had money somehow, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to lead Homer into it. And even if it was Terrence convincing Homer to spy more, and there's some hijinks from that, but it's just, here's the evidence I'm telling you that I have, and I actually don't really have a clear reason why I need your help, and it doesn't make any sense, and then I got angry at the ending.
How about you, Shag? What do you want to change about this one?
I mean, that was pretty definitive. But I suppose if I am going for the big swings, I think I was sort of getting into it until I wasn't. And I thought, so getting into it until I wasn't was specifically that receptionist. I was like, wow, that's huge. And then, suddenly his daughter turns up and now I'm not. It's gone. It's over. Game over.
Yeah.
But what if instead we leaned into the crazy? Like, what's that movie where he hides under the car?
Cape Fear?
Cape Fear, yeah, we do a Cape Fear. And that's sort of like our opportunity to sideshow Bob, except with Homer. So we have a generation gap thing going on.
Okay.
And he is disgruntled former spy who never found his man and becomes convinced by a series of convincing blah, 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 and that Grandpa really is a secret agent. Doesn't matter. but he doesn't suddenly drop his trowel and start spouting the national anthem. He's just like Punisher style. He's been obsessing over this one guy and takes him away to get him to crack. I'm going to make him crack. I'm not going to execute him, of course. I have to. I'm going to torture the truth out of him or something.
And then we could even have everyone else in the episode being like, yeah, it sounds a lot like you're describing Mr. Burns, and him being like, no, it's this man. It must be. If I'm wrong about this, I'm wrong about everything.
Yeah.
Because, we did. It feels weird to say we did figure it out when it then didn't happen, but it felt like such an obvious gimme.
Which means that it then has to turn out to not be Mr. Burns and be a third misdirect.
Sure, whatever.
What was the name of that big dumb guy in Flying Hellfish?
Ace.
The one who
Asa.
knows what a tontine is? Yeah, maybe he's not dead after all.
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
Why not?
Doesn't matter. This is a rewrite.
Or maybe it was Asa, but he died so early that it was just like, yeah, you've been chasing a dead man all these
50
years.
years ago at least. Oh my god. Wow. That's okay. That's my rewrite. What about you, Elliot?
Well, I think that's it. And there was already so much set up with the Hellfish of, stolen paintings from Europe that actually tie them to England.
The British spies into it. I can see that.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I've heard people criticize about the Hellfish episode. It's just like, some kid got the fucking pictures, and it's funny, but it's not the most satisfying ending. Fair enough, and it's not like it needed a redo, but just like. If it's fuel for this episode, then absolutely give me that. But yeah, I think story points, you guys have absolutely nailed it. But just from an animation perspective, this is a comedy show first and foremost, but if we're going here, fucking let's go here. I want a spy chase. I love
Take the big swings.
Yeah, one of the best things about Hellfish is that, boat chase, and at the heart of this action-heavy episode, you have Grandpa and Mr. Burns, two kind of, old feebled guys that, that helps drive the comedy. You can have that here with Terrence and Grandpa.
Because,
absolutely.
Who doesn't love that scene where Mr. Burns crashes the cherry picker through the Simpson wall? It's like, he's a wealthy, powerful guy, but he also doesn't really know what he's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then when it works on the fight on the jet skis, on the water skis, it's magic. I could have watched that all day.
That's it.
I don't know, guys. I'm not sure this was a good episode.
Oh, I know this wasn't a good episode. And you know what? Let's do the final part of the autopsy with our final notes.
And all I really want is some notes, man. A way to say some comments found. I can't remember if I did that one yet.
Opening track, man. That one's a banger.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I think was seriously improved on the 10-year revisit where she redid the whole album but acoustically styled.
Oh.
I haven't heard that.
All I really want, it improved significantly on that version.
Nice. It is very produced in my memory.
Yeah. Chag, have you got any other final notes about this one you want to mention before we rank it?
I've got to level with you, buddy. I haven't really been taking notes.
That's okay, man. You shoot from the hip, man.
Yeah.
That's your style.
You're a renegade, but you get results, damn it.
Just got to follow my guts, man. Got to follow my guts. Did you notice that Bart and Lisa and Marge are all in the episode, but are basically, absolutely lineless?
Yeah.
Why is Lisa even in this? You get one shot of her. You see Maggie, you see Bart. What's that? The Chekhov's gun. You can't just have them there and forget about them.
Well, again, and an episode that alludes to Hellfish that doesn't have Bart or Mr. Burns in it is absolutely criminal. That's another thing I'd change. Have a bit of intergenerational thing. Bart, standing up for Grandpa even though Homer's compelled by the evidence. And,
I love the Bart-Grandpa relationship.
It works so well, and it's one of the surprising, underused hits of the entire run of the series. It's maddening that they didn't lean into that. BT, what are your final notes then?
Man, I got a bunch, so I'm just going to rattle unless you want to back and forth a bit.
Yeah, let's do the back and forthy one, and Shag can be our, Andy Richter.
Yeah, riff in as he likes, yeah. He's like, I've spent 50 years looking for this man, but it's been torture, but the reading has been nice. And he's like, reading, eat, pray, your love. And I'm like,
boo.
That's, again, maybe give me, if he's meant to have lost his mind, maybe give me, a bunch of spy thrillers like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy or I don't know, Born Identity.
I guess that's the joke, is that he's not reading a spy book. He's reading it.
It's still stupid.
Otherwise, there's no joke there.
Or if it's a bad spy novel.
There's still no joke there.
Or if they did James Patterson or something. Yeah, a bad spy.
Yeah.
I liked in the opening intro how he goes, hyping up Dennis. It's like, he's just come from his latest mission, and there were only 11 people dead. Oh, that's only barely double digits, you know, because one of the criticisms of, like, James Bond or any of those sort of spy movies is there is a high body count.
Tends to
I
walk
like that
away with a lot of collateral damage. Bit Mick mostly likes, so I'll put it as an up arrow. There's a bit where Grandpa's like, you don't even know my fears, and Homer says, cocktail onions and, I don't know,
Olives.
Communism, was it?
Communism. And he's like, well,
fascism.
cocktail olives look like eyes. It's like, yeah, fair. They kind of do.
Yep. Homer says at one point, oh, that makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck, where it's revealed that Homer's got an extra 2, like, semicircle hairs on the back of his neck that can stand up.
We watched
I
that.
bet those disappear as fast as their fingernails do.
Yep.
It's like Homer's watch, Homer's neck hair.
Mo's pouring, Mo was pouring beers, and it's brown water and brown water light.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I didn't mind the whole drinking montage in that, even though, yeah.
In terms of the story, useless, but nice to watch, man. I love watching a cheerful Cheers reunion.
Yeah. Oh, there's something to me as well about someone holding court in a pub that's like...
Yes.
Yeah, getting everyone on the hook.
Yeah.
I also kind of wish when he's like, who wants to hear a life story? And they all go, and he's like, oh, I'll buy you a beer. And then they come over. I kind of like the idea of, you know, in like the Lemon Tree episode where it's like, hey, everyone, an old man is telling a story.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that kind of enthusiasm for something they shouldn't.
Yeah, you
anyway.
never see that at a pub where it's like, oh my God, that old codger is holding court. Let's listen to his lies.
Yeah,
Kids
exactly.
used to respect their elders.
They did.
There's a bit where Terrence talks about being top of my class and shows a class photo, and everyone has their eyes with the black bar over it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that got me.
During that, after the montage as well, he's explaining, you know, the love life of a spy, and then it's all done with shadow puppets behind him.
Yeah.
Turns out that Mo's doing those.
I liked it when I didn't know it was Mo doing shadow puppets. Like, just the dramatization of his, like, this is what memory looks like to him, just things in silhouette.
It was a nice, like, 30s detective-y sort of, you know, having the flash, the montage overlay. But in a way, it felt like backing out of that as a style pastiche.
Well, I mean, it's fine enough that they, pan out and Mo's doing all the shadow puppets, but then Lenny goes, oh, Mo, that's really impressive. Like, and it's just like,
hat on a hat.
yeah.
Too many hats.
And then, because he's explaining, you fall in love with a girl, she gets shot by your enemy, you go after your enemy, you fall in love with another girl. And then, the shadow puppets show the woman getting shot. And they call back to it later where he asks Marge for a hug, and she obliges, and then all of a sudden, boom, and then you see red sprayed everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're going, I was just shooting this cherry soda.
Yeah, like, if Terrence and Marge had more interaction, they meet at the bar, and that's about it.
And she's charmed by him because he asked, he kissed her hand while fucking absolutely swaying plastered. Like, charming.
So, ladies love it when you kiss their hand before even saying hello.
Actually, speaking of kissing, there's one sign joke that I fucking loved, which was kissing booth closed for 5 different reasons.
That's fair. There was also a sign of Fat Tony playing whack-a-mole, and he had like his pistol out. I'm like, okay, that's
pretty good. Yeah, that plays.
Terrence talks about serving Queen and Country, and he goes, just the one Queen, actually. She just keeps hanging in there. That's a funny joke that only dated, like, I think maybe later that year or something.
Yeah, to be fair. There's a sign when they're leaving Springfield that says, now leaving Springfield. I hope you learned your lesson.
I want to see a compilation of their leaving or entering Springfield signs. That's been a consistent one. Homer goes, oh, he's as American as Apple Watches. I'm like, okay, you got me there. That was good.
Yeah. Grandpa's the thing he gets from the guys who look like Russians are actually Canadians, and he's like, it's Canadian blood pressure medication. I got high blood pressure from trying to pay for my American pills. I'm like, okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
Maple syrup flavored.
Yep.
God bless those sweet Canuck meds. This isn't another trick to get me to the butt doctor, is it? I admit, I snorted.
Yeah.
When they do park in that trunk scene, Homer does have a good line of like, if he makes me dig my own grave, I'm going to do such a bad job.
Actually, the final notes is actually surfacing a few jokes that we actually liked. It's
right? Yeah. You know, it is hard to do a good gallows joke in a comedy. To be like, I know I'm about to die, I'm cracking wise anyway. That's hard.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
I just thought of a reason that maybe why Mr. Burns wasn't a main player in this episode, because we have noticed that Harry Shearer's vocal deliveries have been on the steep decline lately.
Yes.
And to that point, Herman had a quick appearance in this episode. It's like, but how did Terrence get a gun? And he gun delivery. And he just did not sound like Herman, and it just sounded like Harry Shearer barely fucking caring.
Yeah.
I can't remember why it came up, but there's a bit where someone mentions Tom Jones and he's like, Tom Jones. Yeah, he loves not being dead.
Yeah.
Something about his 50-year career.
Yeah, a career with no decline or something like that. I can't remember.
Again, Simpsons, you're only like 20 years older than Tom Jones. Don't
It had a old man, tie an onion of my belt feel to it. Like they just suddenly got distracted and they're like, what about Tom Jones, by the way?
Yeah. something Tom Jones jokes.
Right.
He's old.
Yeah.
And that's all my notes until my last note. So
okay, wait, does that mean you have another note?
I have one more note, but I want to do it last.
I'm out. I'm done.
Okay, well, my final note was...
after all that suspense...
Grandpa will return in Old Finger or Man with the Golden Retirement Plan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was too busy yelling at that point. I literally wrote down...
They were so proud of those last two little jokes. They had to stick them in there. They are bad jokes, guys. You can let them go.
Really having, like, very large letters, that's the ending, exclamation mark, question mark.
Yeah.
It's time to rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using a 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just... you give it a participant. But for the positive rankings, you got okay, bronze, good, silver, excellent, gold, but for the best of the very best, you give cubic zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. I am failing this one. Look, on another day, I might have gone, ultimately this episode was really just boring and it's fine. It doesn't really affect me. But, there's just something about the lack of care when you're setting up, an episode that, by its nature, should be a bit more intricate and story-focused and intriguing. And that's just, at every point where there was something interesting they could have done, they just didn't do it. I almost pushed up for a participant because I'm like, going through my final notes, handful of jokes there that we all enjoyed, but there's just something about the apathy of this episode that I can't get behind. Failure for me. What do you reckon, BT?
Man, like I said, I was participant right until the ending, and I'm like, this is how you end this. It was just so flat, and the fact that we've riffed significantly, we have two better ideas for this episode in just this chat alone. We should not be able to do that so easily.
3.5.
At least. And it's just so flat. It's one of those ones where technically, emotionally, yes, I want to fail it. Intellectually, I know it's better than that, at least. Fuck it. It pit. Throw it in the pit, because so much of it just doesn't flow or fit together or work to its strengths or anything. I mean, I think we said off pod that I called this undercooked, and it just is.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't off pod, by the way. It's all on here, baby.
Hell yeah.
It was pre my intro, though, so it might make it into the bonus scenes. Will it?
Where I said the same thing again.
Danny, what do you reckon?
First time?
I don't think you guys are going to be too surprised. I'm going to tip this episode into the trunk of my car, drive it out into the forest, and then drop trowel.
But on the metal ranking, where is that?
I think it's pretty clear this is a failure of an episode. There's so much that I actually like about it, which is strange to say.
I think that's the thing. If we just apathy the whole way, it'd be fine. But the fact that I like ideas and I hate how it's done makes me feel something, and that's rage. So that's a failure.
Yeah. I liked the art style, the spy-ness, the back in the 60s sort of vibe with the oranges and the mustards. I like bringing English guy in. He was really charismatic and interesting until suddenly he wasn't.
Until there's too much of it.
Wikipedia says, until suddenly he goes insane.
And that's it. It's just such a sudden, nothing turn that, we've only led to be believed he's competent. And usually, I don't know, halfway through the second act, we'd start to get, droplets of the idea that he's not. And it's just so sudden and so, yeah.
Yeah. So, not their best entry into the series as a whole, but not without its merit.
Look, at least they're swinging for something. But yeah, they really underwhelmed. But yeah, this will be a unanimous failure. We are giving this the index
finger. Gar, gar.
It'll be the third episode from season 32 to be given the finger. It'll also be joined by Manger Things, which was the 700th episode where, like, Homer ended up helping Maud deliver Todd or Rod or something.
See, I don't like this. I don't like that this is next to that because they're bad for very different reasons. But
and also Diary Queen, where Bart finds Edna's diary, and it's so again does not live up to the potential of the idea.
Balls.
But yeah, interesting just looking at the spreadsheet. The next episode after this is The Last Bar Fighter, which you weren't there for, Shag, but that was the one beach where like Mo was in a secret syndicate of like bar people.
John Wickian kind of thing.
But yeah, and that was an action-heavy episode, and we quite liked that. And like, it's so weird that like the very next episode is like, oh, you have potential to do this idea and do it competently. It's so interesting that one episode after the other, it just such a stark difference.
Yeah.
And there was something here. Like, it sparked my interest straight away. And, I mean, it gave us a bunch of great ideas of what... Within the first 2 minutes, I was like, damn, this is going to be a sick flying hellfish episode. And it could have been, but it weren't.
All like, again, spy espionage in an old folks' home where, like, instead of action scenes, you have very close parallels to that as best you can for old people.
Yes. It'd be huge. It'd be like the water balloon fight in season 1, where it's like a huge war movie, but echoed in children.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it was none of this stuff. It's wasted potential.
That's it. I like so much what this episode could have been, but what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for taking time out of your days to join me to do that, gentlemen.
And if you are suffering from the same affliction of having watched this episode, I'm sorry.
Look, that's it. You can rely on your Simpsons Index family to join you for this horrible, horrible ride.
Misery loves company.
We're here together.
But Shag, you know what? If people want to check out what you're doing that's not reviewing Simpsons episodes, you know, they want to break from awful content, where can they get some primo content?
Oh, you damn right they can get some primo shit. I got the good shit all up in my... Is this a swearing podcast?
Fuck yeah, it is, mother crumper.
In that case, go to remix.audio, probably /profile. Hang on, I'll figure it out. Remix.audio is the website. I'm, /profile /Danny Macabre, DANNYMACABRE. I've got 9 albums there now.
9 albums, everybody.
I know. And they're actually pretty good. At least 9 of them. I'm pretty proud of them.
They all make your top 9 albums list.
Latest album... Beach, all credit.
Oh.
Latest album is called Murder Ballads for Birds or Mallards, and I think we will all be delightfully surprised.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll put links to that in the show notes as well, and you're running it on TikTok as well, aren't you?
Yes, all my tracks have videos on TikTok. It can be a little harder to navigate just because they're all in a row, as TikTok does.
Yeah.
But they let me host, which were in many, many sites currently, my secret illegal DJ albums. So I have to be very grateful to whatever little shout out, handout charities I'm given. Check it out. Everyone is going to love it. Even you.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a positive response last time I put your Justice ABBA mix on the end of the episode.
Yeah.
What's one of your latest ones I can drop at the end of this one?
What's the sick needle drop we're doing today?
Oh, dude, I'm actually pretty happy with Styx. I did Styx yesterday, the day before.
Renegade, that was
Renegade
good.
With the presets doing Yippee Oh Yay and Boys Noise, who are like a really industrio tech sort of thing, and it gives it a big chunky chonka, and oh man, it's sort of stuck in my head. And I've been walking around going, and yeah, people just look at me like I'm mad, but I'm not mad. You guys can find out.
Audience, this could be you.
Yeah. You could be listening to a huge chunky chonka.
And of course, Styx is there too.
The Renegade, you've got it made. But yeah, go check that out. Links to all this will be in the show notes. But BT, what if people want to hear more of us, and then specifically us reviewing shit?
Well, if they're done with all that free dance content, they can go over to patreon.com/SideQuestStudios, where they can get, for as little as $5 a month, they can listen to like over 100 and 170, 180?
170.
Over 170 exclusive podcasts. That's right. You get to hear the episodes, me getting caught up on all the episodes I missed on Except When He's Not, or you can check out the DVD and Dextras, where we review the DVD extras from your favorite seasons. And for, patron perk is you get to also recommend a movie that star a cast of The Simpsons for us to review on our other podcast starring Springfield.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of shows out there. We're cycling through a few different ideas. But yeah, name a movie for us to review that stars a cast member of The Simpsons. That is your Patreon privilege, as well as you get shout-outs and us doing impressions and embarrassing ourselves.
All the time.
But also, there's another show that we're doing over there called The Story of the Chalk, where myself, BT, and Danny riff on the chalkboard gags from the opening of The Simpsons and try to figure out what was the punishment, what happened to lead Bart to this.
What is the missing episode that led Bart to this situation?
Yeah, so...
sometimes I think we do better than the rest of the episodes. Not every time, but yeah. Oh, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, go check that out. Patreon.com/SideQuest Studios. But for now, that is the end of the Simpsons Index for this week. Thank you once again, Danny.
No, thank you.
I had a little pause there because I'm like, wait, what's your last name? Is it Macabre or Rosewell?
Right. I got to do my Sting. I'm Danny Rosewell.
Well, now you're like Sting, where I'm just going to call you, he's just Danny. And thank you, BT.
For King and Country. Not really.
Yeah, but can you now do it in Yorkshire and then in Cornish and then in...
Oi, for King and Country, it is.
Hey!
Take that, Stephen Fry.
And I've been your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill.
Sorry.
And that's all the old English mustard in the house.
Oh my God, that was
Please
great.
Please get asked to get more mustard. Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can also check out our other shows, like Pulp Fury Radio, our scripted fiction podcast, which tells all original stories across a range of pulp genres, and Thrones of Game, where we review Game of Thrones in reverse order. Links to those podcasts and more will be available in the show notes. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes!
Now, and I'm going to say something like, click, so that we have something to line up with against the other tracks.
Oh, we'll play a good old syncing game for that.
Oh, yeah. The classic.
Like 1, 2, 3 buzz?
Yeah.
Duck, duck, goose, baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of like, that can be our My Brother, and Me. Duck, duck, and goose.
Shotgun the goose.
Damn.
He's always one goose ahead.
Always. Poor predictable Bard always chooses goose.
Nothing beats goose. Look, we know lawyers. We're good. I don't know if he works copyright law, but actually we know two. Hell yeah.
All right.
We can lawyer up.
Yeah.
One of them's a barrister, goddammit. Powdered Wing et al.
Wow.
Yeah, we know the powdered wig guy.
Yeah. He'll powder your wig.
Where does he get his powdered wigs?
I actually found the shop. It's like...
Yeah, you told me this, and I was so surprised there's actually a store for it.
See, I assumed you had to make your own, like a lightsaber. Get your kyber
like
crystals.
a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Like build your own gavel.
You're not a real barrister until you've barristed your own...
Gotten your sewing patch for, yeah.
Learned law you have, but barrister you are not.
Yeah.
So, guys, you made me watch an episode of The Simpsons today.
Yeah. Hey, we should plug in properly, I guess.
Well, while it's still fresh in my guts.
Yeah, it's in the Teflon seasons, isn't it?
Very overwrought, overworked. It was a bit of a stretch for me to watch it, which is a shame because I really like Stephen Fry, man. And
I find it undercooked.
Yes. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's play the syncing game. I'm 1, Beeges 2, Shag, you're 3, and here comes the first number 1.
2.
3.
4.
5.
6.
Aha, you were also 6.
Dang, I should have been Buzz.